Welcome back to the Deep Dig Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew. My other host, right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts because this is a show that cares. And be sure to subscribe. It all helps us out. It pushes us to other people just like you who want to see this content.
Not another good week for the 49ers. 3 in a row. Got carved up on the defense side of the ball. Brock Purdy threw 2 picks.
And a fumble.
Yeah, and a fumble. Where do we want to start with this?
I mean, you want to take this to the offense side and we'll move over to the defense?
It's all a fucking mess, dude. Like,
Yeah,
it's
that's the
all a
one
mess.
thing,
Like, where do we even start with this team?
We had texted about this and we're like, what are the takeaways here? Like, where do you feel good? Like, the one guy you do feel good about is Christian McCaffrey because he just keeps getting touchdowns. He's going to break the record. We all know that. So, like, that's awesome. And, like, imagine if this team didn't have Christian McCaffrey, what the fuck we would be talking about? It would be a certified dumpster fire. But you can't feel good about dropping your last 3. Like, I'll give them the Browns game. Hey, it's a road game. It's weird. There's rain. But you're playing the number 1 defense. But at the end of the day, you can't drop those other 2 to the Vikings and the Bengals, especially in the way that you did. So I guess let's just talk about let's talk on the defense and we'll move over to the offense. Like, the defense,
so the defense is getting carved up. And like, I know last week I was like, let's not worry about it until we see like some more. I'm worried. Like, I keep on texting the group chat. Like, I feel like I'm being annoying because I keep texting, how many fucking times am I going to see a wide open receiver in the middle of the field just get a catch and there's like no one within 10 yards of him? Like, all you have to do against this 49ers defense is walk to the middle of the field, turn in and sit, and you're wide open. Like, that's how every time they're wide open.
Yeah, and I just don't know what to attribute this to. Like, this has to be one, at least top 3 highest paid defenses in the league. So you have playmakers on all of these levels. Mooney Ward, Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, all of the defensive line is highly touted. So like, why are offenses carving them up? Like, this is ridiculous. And I told you before, I should have fucking bet the Bengals. I should have bet the Bengals, dude.
We thought about it.
I was serious. I was about to do it, dude. And I was just like, nah, you can't do that. But anyways, like, that's why we're Bengals. Yeah, this is
You're in the Bengals blue, black and orange right now?
Yeah. No, but seriously, like, the defensive line does need to step up. I'm tired of hearing that Bosa has the most QB pressures in the league. No one gives a fuck about that stat. What we care about is sacks and impact on the game. And right now, Nick Bosa just doesn't have any. Like, realistically, they stopped double teaming him. That's how bad it's gotten. They've stopped double teaming. They're double teaming Javon Hargrave, which is awesome because, yeah, he's badass. But at the same time, our highest paid player is Nick Bosa. You broke records. You need to go out there and you need to produce. And hurries and rushes and all that pressures, that shit don't matter. What matters is sacks, dude.
Yeah, and also, like, them double teaming Hargrave is cool. Like, he's great for the run game. But if they double team him and then they just sit back and pass all day, like, what does it matter?
Yeah. And so,
is it Isaiah Oliver? Is Isaiah Oliver that bad in the slot, in the nickel?
Looking at stats today, it was pretty bad. I mean, he had some impact plays. Like, so I was confused. I was like, is he bad or is he good? Because he recovered a fumble. He had a couple big hits, but he's getting diced up in there. So he's just not good in coverage, which, like, that's the main thing for a corner. You're going to have to cover people. So, but on the other side, Mooney Ward gets chopped up too. Like, so what are we going to do? Like, that's the best corner.
Yeah, but you're relying on this D line to get there and like make the quarterback make mistakes for this secondary. Like, that's why I've been so good. And this D line just isn't getting there anymore. Like, where the fuck is Drake Jackson? Is he hurt? Like, what are we doing?
Gone.
And then Randy Gregory, like,
he's actually had, I think, 2 sacks since he's been on the team.
He's looked decent, but still, it's like the impact's not there. Like,
but the impact isn't there from Nick Bosa.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the D line in general, the impact's not there.
So, I mean, where does the blame go on this? Like, I know a lot of people are calling for Steve Wilkes to be fired. I know I've seen Richard Sherman talk about it today, and he was like, "Hey, I'm saying that there's a lot of change that needs to come this week. I'm hearing that they could possibly make a change this week because this is the bye week coming up, and typically, if you're going to fire a coach, you do it on the bye week. So, is that something like, in your opinion, does Steve Wilkes deserve to be fired?
I mean, I don't know because first 5 weeks we looked like the best defense in the league. We looked amazing, and now it's just falling apart. I'm not sure. Like, who calls a fucking zero blitz with 13 seconds left at halftime, and they just run a deep route, and then Mooney Ward doesn't knock it down. He tries to go for the pick, and Jordan Addison scores this fucking amazing touchdown. Like, it's also on Kyle for letting that play happen. But I mean, Steve Wilkes, what are we doing? What are we doing here with some of these calls?
The only thing I'm like hesitant, like you can't let him go, is because who are you going to have step up? There's no viable candidate. The only one would be probably Chris Kasarik. And if we've talked about it right now, the defensive line sucks. They're underachieving. So why would we promote this guy? So I just think that you're just going to have to buckle up and ride with it. But I could very much see Steve Wilkes being a one and done. And listening to Haberman and Middlecoff last week, they brought up a point. They were like, hey, Steve Wilkes was the defensive coordinator for the Panthers, and then he got elevated to the head coach once they fired that Rule, and the defense got better once he gave up play calling duties and just became the head coach. So like, I know it's different, apples to oranges, but like, there is something to be said about this guy, and it just isn't meshing, especially if Kyle's calling him out, if Fred Warner and Nick Bosa are both like, hey, we're just not familiar with this scheme. I don't know if it's not what we normally do. So I just don't think you hear all of these rumblings if things are going perfectly, and obviously they're not.
I mean, but it's crazy. Like the first 5 weeks, like the defense looked like it was full of dogs. Like everyone's going crazy, everyone's going hard.
No, I was complaining a little bit. I'm not gonna
You were
lie.
complaining a little bit, but like
I
we're
was
flying
bro,
around. We're the aggressiveness of the team in the D line and the linebacker spots were like so off the charts that it was affecting the pass game. I mean, we were leading the league in interceptions.
yeah, and I could still see like cracks in the armor when you have sustained drives like that. And listening to like Will Compton talk last week when he was on Part of My Take, and they asked him like, how many plays does it take for you to get fucking gassed? And he was like, if you get a first down, you're kind of fucked. Like, you're just like, think about it. You're going hard for 3 plays straight, especially if you have a third and long, which people are, converting against these 49ers. It's so demoralizing. And you're just like, like, in this team, it's just teams are sustaining drives against this 49ers team.
But
I
then
think
also think about the offense. Like we're not converting third downs on that side of the ball either these last 3 games.
no, I think we opened up the second half with 3 and out, right?
Yeah, so it's putting more pressure on the defense. So like that side of it's also going hand in hand with the whole team struggling.
Oh yeah, and honestly, like, so now let's go to the offense. So last week, Shanahan really did throw the bus on Steve Wilkes. He didn't drive it on him. He Hulk smashed him with it. This week, the offense doesn't produce again, and there's no one that you can really point the finger at because, I mean, yeah, the defense did suck, but at the same time, you should have been scoring more points. And Kyle's entire tenure has been that, where the defense has to carry this offense, and the offense is just kind of lackluster. So, like, what's going on here? You have all these weapons. Yeah, Trent is out. Yeah, Debo is out. But at the same time, you have all these other guys, and the offensive game plan was just up and down roller coaster. Like last week, Jawan Jennings, who is a very good receiver, got 9 targets. This week, he got 0. Like, what are we doing? Like, you can't just give it to Kittle, Ayuk, and McCaffrey, which he does. And so it's like, okay, well, I know who you're going to give it to. One of these 3 guys, I'll just guard him. Like,
yeah, it's like kind of what we talked about to start the season. We're winning and cool, but like how much is Kyle just going to force feed McCaffrey every game? And it wasn't a problem when we're winning, but now it's like, okay, Kyle, they clearly know you're going to go to McCaffrey every single play, and he's so good that he's still going to produce, but it's not enough to like overcome that they're targeting him now. And then you're like, okay, now let's switch it up. It's either Ayuk or Kittle, and that's it. Like those three are basically the only three that contributed on offense for a whole game, which is kind of ridiculous in the NFL. Like, why aren't we throwing to Juwan Jennings? Ronnie Bell's not seeing the field. Like, Danny Gray
Juszczyk is the highest paid fullback.
does Danny Gray exist?
No.
Like, no. I mean, it's just like, Kyle, we know you love your guys. Like, these are your guys, these ones right here. But you have a whole roster, and they're not all going to be your type of guys. But you have to find a way to work them into your system. And it's just like the level of trust that he doesn't have for other players is ridiculous sometimes.
And I just don't get it. How are they not your guys when you drafted them? You can't say that. You can't be like, I just don't know that. I just don't trust them. It's like, you drafted them. You have to get them ready, dude. Like,
and how are they gonna be like turn into your guys if you don't give them opportunity on the field?
Yeah, man. So it is frustrating, especially knowing that this 49ers team does have cap space. They have $40 million in cap space. What the fuck are we doing? Like, bro, let's go shopping. Let's go get someone. I know we can't really give up too much draft capital, but get rid of some of these guys that you don't even fucking use. Let's trade Danny Gray, even though we wouldn't get anything for him. Let's trade Cameron. We can't trade Cameron Latu. He's on the IR, but whatever. Like, let's trade some of these. Trade Drake Jackson. Do something. Let's go out and get Danielle Hunter. Let's go out. I think the biggest need right now is a pass rusher.
Well, let's get into this. Like, next week is the bye. Trade deadline's coming up. The rumors swirling about making moves. I think who's the corner they were just in the rumored to be going for?
I know they were talking about JC Horn, but
the Bears. I think it was Jalen Johnson.
Oh, Jalen Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, they're rumored to go for Jalen Johnson, and then Kyle's also coming out with a statement saying, if we don't make a move, don't be surprised because there's not much out there. And it's just like, well, then you need to make something happen. Like, it's not going to be there's not going to be a bad team that's like, you know what? TJ Watt, let's put him in the trade market for the Niners. Like, bro, go out there, do your research, and find someone who can you can make available with whatever we have.
Yeah, and that's the thing though. Like, I wouldn't give up a first round pick for anybody that's kind of on the market where you're hearing rumors about. Even Patrick Surtain, I wouldn't do it. Like, there's not an elite pass rusher. There's Danielle Hunter, who does lead the NFL, but you would have to still pay him after this year. I think you'd get him for a second, but there's not like, I think the Seahawks just traded for Leonard Williams, so that one's off the table. Brian Burns, who knows what's going to happen with him? So it's like, there's not a whole lot there as far as what the need is. And I think the need is a pass. Like, if I had to prioritize it, it'd be pass rusher, then corner, then wide receiver, and maybe even a fucking backup running back. Because, I mean, Elijah Mitchell, not available, but you have to jump him over.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous with the league right now that has a surplus of receivers, surplus of running backs, that we can't trade for one of these guys and kind of just load up. I think we do really need a receiver, because if Debo or Ayuk goes down, like, look how the offense is looking right now. Like, we need someone who can also like step in and produce, and also just to kind of diversify the offense up a little bit. Like, it kind of feels like we have very similar, like, yes, Ayuk's a route runner, Debo's, yak guy, but then who do we have? Like, Juwan is definitely a possession receiver, but we don't use him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, let's get someone else in here to, mix it up. As far as the corners, I mean, I think, to me, this secondary room right now, I think we do have some talent there, but I don't know who's going to be the guy on any given Sunday. I kind of want to do like, I don't know if you've seen the last season, Last Chance U, the basketball one, where he was tired. He was like frustrated, the coach. And he's like, you know what? I don't even care about like your recruiting status. I don't care how many stars you had. I'm going to throw everyone out there, and whoever wants it is going to be the starter. Like, whoever got that dog in them is going to go. And like, all the backups went off. And so I kind of want that strategy. Like, yo, every position's open right now. Like, Jair Brown, this is your time. If you want to take a nickel spot, if you want to take a safety spot, like, what are we doing here? It's wide open.
Yeah, I mean, something's got to give. I don't think they are going to make a move, if I'm going to be completely honest. And it is frustrating, again, because there is so much cap space. But you can't make desperate moves just because you are panicking. That's when you get trapped into the Russell Wilson of it all. You know what I mean? You make a bad decision that affects you for years down the line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll get on and talk about this next week if a trade does end up happening. But let us know in the comments. What are you thinking about the trade line? Do we need a lineman, wide receiver, corner, all the above? Are we just gonna wait it out? Because Debo's coming back, Trent Williams coming back. Maybe we'll just get back and rolling once it's all perfect for Kyle. Once he has his perfect Shanahan system, that's everything. Go ahead and comment, like, subscribe. We appreciate you guys, and we will be posting again during the bye week. So we got to figure out what we're gonna bet on this week for the disco. Maybe we'll bet on some Warriors.
I'm fucking
I mean,
tired of losing. First off, God damn.
For the diamond pick this week. Maybe we'll talk Warriors.
Yeah, over under on Clay coming back. He's out of here, right?
We talk some Chris Paul. All right, guys. See ya.
All right, later.